Kia ora tātou te whānau. Whānau and farming, current focus. As we all know, whānau, during this time in 2020, as a result of the COVID pandemic, we've had to adjust, redefine and refocus to a new normal. Here we were here on Sunday the 15th of March 2020, just prior to the 18th of March level 4 lockdown in New Zealand. There I am teaching some macroeconomics and carbon cropping. There's Taniro and Shannon preparing the 20 hectare dry stock block, the Manawaiti Pataka farm in Tikuiti. Then everything changed. Before we move forward, might I offer our love and sincere best wishes to everybody as they adjust and as they see and seek new horizons for them and their whānau. Kia ora tātou te whānau, ngā mihi aroha kia koutou. Even prior to COVID-19, we had lots of other things on our focus as well. The welfare of our stock, biodiversity, biosecurity, climate change, economics and trade, employment, environment, health and safety, infrastructure, local government, rural community, science and innovation, water and water storage, drought resistance and so forth. So many things were on our mind even prior to COVID-19. Since then, we've strived to remain focused on our whānau operations, what we're doing with our land and waterways, and with our educational programs. So remaining centrally focused on our connection to our central vision of helping whānau, whilst being cognizant and aware of what is around us. Needless to say, even prior to COVID-19, we were still dealing with M-Bovis. Then let's not forget drought. What about the new clean water and biodiversity legislation that's upcoming? The ever-present Resource Management Act, the Emissions Trading Scheme, that grey area, the ETS, a general drive in the country is heading towards carbon zero, and the Pātaka Institute are wanting to double down on that towards carbon negative. What about the rural broadband that we've been anticipating? That hasn't arrived yet either. What about the stock exclusion regulations that we're dealing with, in effect turning our stock into walking weapons of mass destruction, it seems, to the community? Try building something on any type of slope as well, there's that regulation to deal with. Meanwhile, what are we going to get for our milk solids? What about our wool clip? What are wool prices going to look like about 12 months from now? All of these things front and centre in our mind, even prior to the COVID situation. How we can refocus all these questions, prioritise them. We've developed this short course to enable us to do that very refocusing, to put things into perspective, and to go about looking at things differently into the future. We hold that we've been looking through situations like this for decades through what are louvered, or what I would call scratched lenses, where we don't have a clear focus. But I believe that this situation with the COVID pandemic is requiring us to be laser focused on what we're doing. We have to stop and think, clear up our lenses so we can have a clear vision forward. We might be able to put some of these things into perspective. Now, outside of the regulatory framework, outside of all the market forces that we're dealing with as well, we've also tended to have scratch lenses to do with our understanding of our government as a sovereign fiat currency issuer. Now, this is what's common knowledge and what's standard. These are the types of things that we've gotten used to. This type of thought or whakaaro, that taxation is required for the government to be able to spend. It needs to generate taxes in order for it to be able to invest into the economy. And that's just become a standard for us. Every member of parliament thinks government has to raise dollars through taxation to then be able to spend. If government can't get those dollars through taxes, then it can't spend. If government can't get those dollars, then it's going to have to borrow from the likes of China and the United States. We're going to leave all of this debt to our grandkids, and it's very much a sad, sorry story. Well, at the Pātaka Institute, we're saying that this has all been out of focus and it's all completely fluff. None of that is true. We want to clear that up as well during this short course. We want to put a clear focus on these myths and fallacies, to remove the louvered or scratch lenses, replace them with a clear lens for refocus. Also, back on our course site, our short course Government Debt as Our Savings will help us understand this particular matter around sovereign currency issuance. I invite you to pop back onto the site and view that course at your own leisure. Let's put some focus back on both these issues here. Whaanau and farming refocus. As we mentioned, we normally think that the government requires taxation in order for it to spend. That is false. Here is the true sequence. As the currency issuer, our government, and here we are, whānau and farmers, the rest of our community, entirely the whole economy outside of the central government. So the currency issuer spends the New Zealand dollars first. When it spends, it's creating those dollars, either directly through deficit spending or through bank credit creation, through regulating the commercial banks. The point here to be, though, a currency issuer spends the dollars first. Then we're able to earn those dollars as tax credits to pay our taxes. Not the opposite situation that we become used to thinking. To quickly review, the currency issuer must spend the dollars first, then we can pay our taxes thereafter. It's important that we focus on that and use it to eclipse some of those myths and fallacies that we've gotten used to hearing, and also to eclipse some of those concerns about upcoming legislation, upcoming market situations. It's important that we have this new refocus to put clarity and focus on those former issues. Now, as those things may surface again in the future, we'd like you to think hard and refocus on them through this short course. So please review back at your own leisure. Let's realign these concerns and these fallacies. Replacing the scratch lens for a clear lens. This refocus is what we're inviting you to do. To understand more clearly, sometimes it's useful to have a parable or a related story. If you like movies, then look at the situation like this. When those issues arise, just think of the currency as saying to you, help me, help you. This is the government speaking. Help me, help you. So what do we respond as? Show me the money. Show me the money, government. Show me the money. Say it with me, government. Show me the money. Show me the money. Okay, I'll spend first. Yes, government. Now we can pay taxes. Now we can pay regulations. Now, if you'd like us to turn our dairy operations into environmental sanctuaries, all you have to do is show me the money. If you want my dry stock block to be an environmental extravaganza, just show me the money. Yes, government. So now, once the government spends first, we can pay our taxes and regulations, and altogether we can say at the end of the whole scenario, congratulations, government, you're still our agent. So now, the question I get often is, once we understand sovereign currency issuance, what can us as normal people do about this? Well, you can do probably the most important thing, which is to elect a currency issuer that actually knows they're a currency issuer. To elect a government, including a Minister of Finance, who understands that government debt is actually our savings, who understands that the currency must be spent first in order for us to be able to produce goods and services, to provision the nation. The government must spend first. And there's no financial limitation on the government. The only limitation are the natural resources that we have available in New Zealand, our skills and talents, and to be able to monitor and mitigate inflation. If we produce new goods and services through good investment, then we can minimize inflation. That's the only possible financial constraint. Everything else is there available for us. So you actually have power. We're in charge of this knowledge that you've just learned. We invite you to use it. So whānau, let's always consider to refocus. Let's use this opportunity now through the changes in society, what's occurred in 2020 as a new opportunity to set new horizons for ourselves and to focus on important things. It's very, very important that we understand the role of the sovereign fiat currency in our nation. Above all, remain focused. Share this whakaaro with your friends, that they may also catch on to the vision. Nō reira, kia koutou te whānau, ngā mihi aroha, nanu, nanu.